In West Alabama, 70 currently in Tuscaloosa. Look at that local forecast here in just a few minutes.
And now, stepped up to help the areas impacted by Helene, and new law goes into effect tomorrow as Alabama joins a growing list of states that soon.
Check. All right. I got you.
My mic is on. Well, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Huh? Thank you.
Tell her we got 2 packages in that second block. If we need to drop that second one, drop it. Yep. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Wait, straight from the top. That we can just start right into the show where I said, well, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is WVUA 23 News at 10.
And we're glad you're with us tonight. I'm Jabari Pruitt. In tonight's top story, Hurricane Helene has passed, but the devastating impacts continue. The death toll from Helene now stands at 128 people across 6 states. Sadly, that number may continue to rise as hundreds of people are still unaccounted for. Sherelle Hubbard has the story.
Helene's aftermath is being described by some as post-apocalyptic.
We've heard accounts of people seeing houses floating down the river with people in them. So we know that that death toll will rise.
The devastation was beyond belief. And even when you prepare for something like this is something that's never happened before.
The Asheville, North Carolina area is amongst the hardest hit. Hundreds of roads remain closed, especially in the Carolinas. Some had to be airlifted out.
It's just really horrifying. It's sad because there's still people there that are really hard to get to.
One man hiked 11 miles through landslides and destroyed roads to find his mom and dad.
Just was the greatest relief I've had in my life, and just hugged him as tight as I could, and bawled, and then went inside and found my mom and did the same.
Canned food? Yes.
Some supplies started to trickle in on Monday, but failed roads are hampering the delivery of badly needed supplies. The White House pledged to provide, quote, every available resource.
Our nation is with you.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
And Governor Kay Ivey has sent an Alabama National Guard team to North Carolina. A 13-person Alabama fatality search and rescue team will assist heavily impacted areas of Helene. The order comes as more than 1,000 people are still missing. Alabama also sent 3 swift water rescue teams with 1 cadaver dog team. Governor Ivey is ready to offer additional assistance for all those impacted by the storm. Several communities in western North Carolina remain virtually isolated, cut off from life-sustaining supplies like food and water and medical care. Well, thousands of people will be donating to help those affected by Helene, but there are some new risks when donating relief funds. The Better Business Bureau is urging the people to be careful when donating money. The BBB says scammers will pose as nonprofits and set up a fake donation website, social media campaigns, and crowdfunding sites, hoping to steal money from people. Carl Bates, president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, says make sure you verify the organization and website before donating. He says using a credit card is the best option.
Look at the major charities. Look at, American Red Cross, Salvation Army, United Way. All of them are operating in the areas affected and have possibilities out there. And then you've got a list of other charities that are out there in each state that's been affected that we know we've checked out today, actually, and over the weekend, that we know are operating to actually help people in the affected areas.
If you or someone comes across any potential scams, report it to BBB Scam Tracker and contact the local authorities. Well, local relief organization High Socks for Hope provides natural disaster victims tools to help them rebuild their lives. High Socks for Hope is currently working on ways to help people infected by Hurricane Helene. Now, thousands of mold radiation kits have been made to be sent out to different impacted areas. The kits have mold sprayers, drywall saws, garbage bags, and protective goggles to help fight against the mold growing inside the home. They also plan to provide a temporary housing while the victims' homes are being repaired. They also help furnish the homes.
It's so important for people to use the right product when they clean their house out, because if they clean it with Clorox, it does not kill the mold. And then a lot of people will gut their houses, they'll clean it with the wrong thing and then put it all back together and have to do it again. So we want people to have the right thing in their hands. So we're working on thousands and thousands of kits to go out. We have about 1,500 to 2,000 ready to go, and they'll be going out in different areas when they're ready for them, and we're working on many, many more.
For more information or to donate to the cause, visit highsocksforhope.org. Well, speaking of the weather, a beautiful start to the work week here. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott is here with a first look at that forecast. And Richard, what can we expect for the rest of the work week?
Hey, Jabbar, a bit warmer across central Alabama for the rest of that forecast heading towards upcoming weekend. Right now, 71 in Tuscaloosa, Jasper 67, Linden at 69, and a cloudless sky across South Alabama, but much of north and northwest Alabama kind of socked in with a cloud cover this evening. No rainfall to talk about. And hey, starting off tomorrow morning, may have some areas of patchy fog. 64 at daybreak. Will top out at around 83 or so by mid-afternoon. We'll talk about that local forecast in the weekend here in just a few minutes. Jabari.
Richard, thank you. An arrest was made after a woman was stabbed at Running Brook Apartments in Tuscaloosa. 26-year-old Deaja Tiana Jemison has been charged with attempted murder. Investigators say the stabbing stemmed from an earlier argument at a local club. The victim is expected to survive her injuries. Well, a very big weekend in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama-Georgia game. Tuscaloosa police says everything went well. TPD says in total there were 6 arrests made in the area of the Strip and on campus. The charges range from public intoxication to failure to disperse. Now, Chief Brent Blankley declared the Strip overcrowded just after midnight, and everyone outside of an establishment was told to leave. Blankley says everything went according to the TPD's plan. Now, TPD worked extensively with the Secret Service and other agencies to plan for high security. Well, Christ Baptist Church of Tuscaloosa held a ceasefire citywide revival in hopes to end gun violence. This is a partnership between Tuscaloosa police and local churches. Guest speakers spoke about different topics involving gun violence. The goal of the campaign is to provide kids with positive role models and to keep guns off the streets. Now, rapper Boom Sterling held a performance at the church advocating against gun violence and promoting positive rap.
Too much killing going on in the African-American community. As a matter of fact, not only in the African-American community, but just nationwide, too much killing, so we like to be a spark. Oh, because too many mothers and fathers are crying, and most of all, too many girls and boys are dying.
Christ Baptist Church invites the community to pass the peace and stop the violence. Well, the Tuscaloosa City Council will be canvassing the results of the special municipal election tomorrow. The results are for the September 24th referendum school tax vote. Residents in the city of Tuscaloosa voted against the property tax increase and lost by just 5.6%. The proposed increase failed, leaving the Tuscaloosa City Schools Board managing major cuts to the 2025 budget, including a $6 million deficit. Canvassing the results starts at noon tomorrow. When Alabama porn ID law will go into effect tomorrow. The law requires a photo of identification for Alabamians in order to access pornographic website Pornhub. Other states have signed the law into effect, including Mississippi, Texas, Utah, and Louisiana. Major website Pornhub is blocking total access to the site for Alabamians in retaliation to the law. In a statement displayed on the site, Pornhub disagrees with the use of ID verification, cutting privacy concerns for use. The state registers the IDs and consent records of individuals for a minimum of 5 years. Those records will be accessible to the Alabama law enforcement at any time. Well, the Alabama Department of Transportation is performing pavement maintenance in Bibb County. The 5-mile project will begin this week and continue through the fall. Crews are repaving, installing guardrails, and placing new traffic stripings on US 82. Construction will be from the State Road 25 overpass to the junction of State Road 382. Flaggers or a pilot car will guide traffic. Well, coming up, a strike at Longshore East and Gulfport reaches a deadline tonight. What economical impacts could happen? And we're just one day away from the vice presidential debate. Will this year's event move the needle? Stick around. We're coming right back. And vice presidential nominees Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance are gearing up for a high-stakes debate tomorrow. Julia Bentbrook takes a look back on how each of them were selected and what they bring to the table.
Debates between vice presidential nominees rarely move the needle, but allies to both Walz and Vance predict that this one could be different. They argue that both are relatively new to the national spotlight and have received outsized attention in their roles. During a fast-tracked selection process, Vice President Kamala Harris chose Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. It was her first major decision at the top of the Democratic ticket.
Let us fight for the promise of our future.
On the campaign trail, the 60-year-old is leaning into his background as a teacher and a high school football coach, as well as his time in politics that spans almost 20 years, serving in Congress and as governor.
You look at Governor Walz, the reason why it's smart pick, the reason why he was picked is to bridge that cultural divide, to reach out to constituencies that the Democratic Party's had problems, reaching.
When it comes to former President Donald Trump's pick, he took his time and built suspense. After months of consideration, he selected Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side.
The 40-year-old has less debate experience, but has spent plenty of time in the national spotlight, coming on the political scene after writing a New York Times bestseller in 2016 and winning a crowded Senate primary in 2022.
The reason he was selected was to be the MAGA heir apparent. He was the one who was going to continue on the MAGA. So, of course, he's combative. He's aggressive. That's the style. He is reflective of the top of the ticket.
The debate will be 90 minutes long and takes place at the CBS Broadcast Center here in New York City. It's moderated by Margaret Brennan and Nora O'Donnell. Reporting in New York, I'm Julia Benbrook.
And Democrats filed a lawsuit against Georgia's state election board today over a new rule. The new rule requires counties to hand count ballots on Election Day. They argue the hand counting rule conflicts with state law and the board overstepped its authority. The lawsuit says if the hand count rule is allowed to go into effect, the general election will not be orderly. Large counties will face significant delays in reporting vote counts, and election officials will struggle to implement the new procedures.
And going to be a warmer day for Tuesday. Look at those numbers and that 7-day after the break. Hear my forecast every day on Rock 106.3 FM. It is a nice, quiet evening across West Alabama. Here is a live view. This is the Algo traffic camera looking at the community of Jasper, the roadways in Jasper. That's Highway 5 and Highway 69, where the weather conditions are currently dry. Had a couple of pop-up showers earlier near that camera location. Let's go to Bryant-Denny Stadium camera. This is on top of the stadium, looking off towards a north direction. You got University Boulevard there at the bottom of your screen. Temperature currently at 71 in Tuscaloosa. And looking down for the radar, a lot of ground clutter tonight, but no rainfall, no chance for rain through tonight. 70 in Haydenville. We got 67 right now in Jasper, 69 in Linden, down in Marengo County. And a lot of cloud cover still in place across central Alabama. No rain with that this evening, and leave the umbrellas at home for tonight. And the bus stop forecast tomorrow morning, some areas of fog will be a possibility. So head out early in the morning. Allow a little extra commute time. May need that. 64 degrees will patchy fog again tomorrow morning. In the afternoon, that evaporates. Maybe a few afternoon showers developing. Temperature around 83 by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Here's that complete forecast for Tuesday. Lunchtime 78, northeast wind around 5 miles per hour for tomorrow. But notice again, we got a mostly dry weather through the lunchtime, maybe a shower or two in the afternoon, but not going to rain everywhere. This is our Futurecast model. You'll see that a limited rain chance developing, some specks out there on our model data. Here you go, right there. These will be brief and generally moving from north to south. Just have the umbrella in the back seat of the car. May need that tomorrow afternoon. Then we go dry for Wednesday. Sunshine is back, and no additional rain chance after tomorrow until we get to Friday, with a pretty good chance for some rain locally, but mainly for our far southern counties. We're looking at I-20 south. Even where it does rain amounts will be pretty light. In the tropics, got a brand new update. Tropical Storm Kirk out here in the central Atlantic. Invest 91L out there too. What's left of Joyce, and a new system that's developing the Caribbean there. We'll be carefully monitoring that as it does lift into the Gulf of Mexico. It does have a chance to develop. The good news with this is I see no sign of this becoming anything like Helene. This could be a weak tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm, something we'll monitor, but no evidence of anything significant in the Gulf of Mexico. So here's your 7-day forecast. We got a 20% chance for a shower or two on Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday going dry. Look for a chance for an isolated shower or two on Friday. And for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather making that return of temperatures in the mid-80s. That's your forecast update. Here's Gary.
Thanks, Richard. Coming up, Alabama's fourth down defensive failures almost cost them the game against Georgia. Kane Womack on why it was so difficult to get off the field against the Bulldogs. And the Braves and Mets in the old win and you're in this afternoon for a spot in the Major League Baseball playoffs. The good news is they played a doubleheader, so they had two chances. Sports is coming up next. Good evening, I'm Gary Harris. Alabama led Georgia 28-0 in the second quarter and 30-7 at halftime, but the Bulldogs went on a 27-3 run in the second half to take a 34-33 lead before the Ryan Williams dramatic game-winning touchdown catch. Crimson Tide head coach Kalen DeBoer said today the game is another learning experience in regard to the success in the first half and the struggles in the second half.
For us to start fast like we have really the last two games, we did against Western Kentucky, the South Florida game, I think we learned a lot. But I really like that because that shows the preparation, the confidence that is a result of it. We hit the ground running. Yes, we would like to have a better second half. There are just literally there's literally one play here, one play there, a small little piece that would have in the early part of the third quarter or mid part of the third quarter completely changed that game. And unfortunately it did. It did happen, and we have to continue to learn from that.
Well, down 30-7 at halftime, Georgia went into 4-down mode in the second half, and they converted them 5 for 5 by either a good play or by penalty. If Bama gets a stop on any of those, as Coach alluded to, the UGA comeback would probably never have occurred. Today at his weekly press conference, Alabama defensive coordinator Kane Womack discussed how difficult it can be to play defense against a desperate offensive football team that throws caution to the wind.
When you go up 30-7, you're playing a very different style game from a defensive perspective. Now that this team essentially has 4 downs to be able to get a first down, and so typically what they did, and what most teams would do, right? They're going to be way more aggressive on first or second down, take more shots downfield, knowing that they're going to be in a go scenario on 4th down, and so it's one of the most challenging things to handle as a defense. It's even different than 2-minute because you are now defending 4 downs, and they have time. They can take their time. They can take those shots downfield.
And Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe is the SEC Player of the Week after he accounted for a career-best 491 total yards and 4 touchdowns. He threw for a career-high 374 yards and 2 scores, went 27 of 33, touchdown passes of 16, and that 75-yard game winner to Ryan Williams. He also eclipsed the 100-yard mark on the ground, 117 rushing yards on 16 carries, and added 2 rushing touchdowns of 7 and 36 yards. And Ryan Williams, no surprise, is the SEC Freshman of the Week after he led the Crimson Tide receivers once again. He recorded a career-high 177 yards and a touchdown. Of course, made numerous highlight reel catches, punctuated by that game-winning 75-yarder. He also had a pair of kickoff returns and a punt return. He did a little bit of everything for Alabama. Braves hosting Mets in a doubleheader for the playoffs. Teams, if they split the doubleheader, they both go. If one team sweeps the other, the Diamondbacks would go. Braves were up 3-0 going to the top of the 8th in Game 1, but the Mets struck for 6, capped off by Brandon Nimmo's 2-run blast, 6-3 Mets. But in the bottom of the 8th, it's 6-4 now, and Ozzie Albies, 3-run triple. He almost got it out for the grand slam, but it scores 3. The Braves take a 7-6 lead. But in the top of the 9th, Francisco Lindor will close the door on the Braves. Get that pitch out of here. 2-run blast. The Mets win Game 1, 8-7. So they're in the playoffs. The Braves have to win Game 2 or they stay at home. 1-0 in the 7th. Marcell Ozuna, though, will come through for the Braves. Eventually we'll get to Game 2. There it is. That 2-run single put the Braves up 3-0. They win it. Diamondbacks are eliminated. Braves at Padres tomorrow in the best of 3 Game 1 out at Petco Park. Well, Pete Rose, Major League Baseball's all-time hit king and the Cincinnati Reds icon whose signature gritty hustle couldn't outpace the gambling transgressions that kept him out of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, has died. He was 83. Rose was one of baseball's greats, a winning, obsessed spark plug who topped MLB's all-time hit list with 4,256 hits over a 24-season career. He stood out for all his effort. He just did everything. He earned the nickname Charlie Hustle. He played for 3 World Series champion teams, the Reds, Big Red Machine in 75 and 76, and the Phillies in 1980. Going to miss Pete Rose, passing away at the age of 83. Also passing away today, Dikembe Mutombo at the age of 58 from brain cancer. We'll be back after this.
Starting with you.
Yeah, I was hurrying to make sure I got out of sports on time. We were worried we didn't have enough time. But yeah, I mentioned Dikembe Mutombo passing too, the great Atlanta Hawks and Denver Nuggets NBA star, 58 from brain cancer. So he and Pete Rose passing in the same day. Yeah. Sad day for the sports world, but a good day for the Braves as they managed to get into the playoffs.
All right, and of course tomorrow is the first day of Breast Cancer Month, and Richard and I will be wearing our pink tomorrow in honor of
my grandmother
and my mom and everything. Yep. So we'll be wearing pink. We're gonna invite Gary to wear pink.
Well, come on, join us.
We're gonna support us. We're gonna wear pink. We want all y'all to wear pink tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, it's going to be warmer tomorrow. Still the chance for a brief shower or two. The clouds kind of hanging around a little bit. I think we're back at full sunshine on Wednesday.
All right, that's it for us. We're back here again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Until then, have a great night.
See you.